today we are evaluating functions from an equation. So, first thing we need to talk about is function notation. So, in math, f is a function of x and can be written like this, f of x. So it's f, open parentheses, and then the letter x, and we read that as f of x. So the word of isn't there, but that's how we read that, is f of x. From here on out, we are able to use f of x equals interchangeably with y equals. So now, instead of we used to have a lot of y equals equations. From here on out, we're going to have quite a few f of x equals equations. Okay, that is called function notation. So if you ever hear like evaluate a function from function notation, that's what we're talking about. When we have f of x, we are able to replace that letter x with a number. And so we're able to say we want to find f of 2. That means plug in 2 for x. Find f of 5. That means plug in 5 for x. We can also have other functions. So down below, you guys will see we have f of x, g of x, h of x. So we can use different letters, and that's a way that we can have like different labels, different names for functions. So today what we're going to be doing, steps for evaluating using function notation, we're going to substitute our value in for x. You have to show your work there. You have to show your work for what number you're plugging in. John and Brandon, put your masks on. Okay, so we're going to substitute in a value, and then we are going to simplify it out down to one number. So we've got 3 examples, and then we've got this special example at the end. Notes should be pretty quick. We only have one example of each of a few different types, so make sure you're paying attention as we go. We're actually going to find g of 3 first, because it's the easiest one. You zoom into that one. So when we want to find g of 3, we are being told that g of x equals 7x minus 11. Find g of 3 means plug in 3 for x. When we substitute something into a function, we want to plug it in parentheses. Plug it in parentheses. So we are going to do 7 times 3 minus 11. And then we are going to work out that math and figure out what 7 times 3 minus 11 is. There's 2 ways we can do that after we substitute it in. We can do it piece by piece. So I can do 7 times 3 first. 7 times 3 is 21. So then I'm going to have 21 minus 11. And then 21 minus 11 is 10. That would be my answer. So g of 3 equals 10. We could also, if we wanted, we could write down 7 times 3 minus 11 and then plug that into a calculator. So I do 7, open parentheses, 3 minus 11, and I would get 10 as well. You have to have this first line of work and you have to have this last line of work. You do not have to have the one in the middle, because if you choose to do it in your calculator, you don't need that. But you can't just have the answer. You have to show us substituting it in and then simplifying your answer. You can't just have the answer. Any questions about that problem? Okay, we're going to move on to this one then. I saved this one because it's a negative and there's an exponent. So given f of x equals 2x squared minus 5, we want to find f of negative 2. So we're going to plug negative 2 in for x, and we need to plug it in parentheses. So we're going to have 2 times negative 2 squared minus 5. Okay. From there, we're going to take this problem and we need to simplify it out. Here is the time we need to remember our order of operations. In PIMDAS, We don't have anything we need to do in the parentheses. So then the next thing that comes is our exponents. So we need to do that negative 2 squared. What does it mean to square something? Multiply it by itself. What is negative 2 times negative 2? Positive 4. That's what I was looking for, is that positive. So we've got 2 times 4 now, minus 5. And then we can keep working that out. Next thing we're going to do is our multiplication. 2 times 4 is 8. So now we have 8 minus 5. And then 8 minus 5 is 3. And that's our final answer. We could, just like we could do this on the last one, we could plug in that first line, 2 times negative 2 squared minus 5. We could put that in our calculator. That would look like this. 2, open parentheses, negative 2, close parentheses, squared minus 5. I would get 3. If you want to take a sec, plug that in your calculator, you can. Okay. Again, you have to have the top line, you have to have the bottom line. You don't have to have the lines in the middle if you do it in your calculator. The last one we've got, we want to find h of x, and then we got to do this one, but that's a different thing. So h of x equals 1/3 x plus 2. So we are going to plug in 6, because we want to find h of 6. So we're going to do 1/3 times 6 plus 2. Okay, you guys are unnecessarily scared of fractions. Don't be. Let's think about what a third is. Saying 1/3 is like dividing by 3. So if I were to say, what is 1/3, or what's 6 divided by 3, what's 6 divided by 3? 2. So if I were to say, I have 6 slices of pizza, me, Manuel, and Alex will each take a third of them. We would each get 2 slices. We've got 2 plus 2. 2 plus 2 is 4. You got it. In a calculator, if you want to do the fractions in a calculator, you've got a couple different options. You can go to the math button. Actually, I just honestly type in 1/3 in parentheses, or 1/3, because it's division. Yeah, and that works. You can also put that 1 divided by 3 in parentheses if you like to, but it should work either way. So 1/3 times 6 plus 2. I would get 4. Okay. Any questions about evaluating? Because that's most of what you guys are doing today. Any questions right now? Okay, there's one more thing on here, and that is, after you've evaluated, we're going to have you use your answers. So this last question says, find f of negative 2 plus g of 3. And you're probably like, what is f and what is g? Well, we look back at the problems we just did. We found f of negative 2 right here. So f of negative 2 is 3. So I'm going to write down a 3 below this. Plus, we already did g of 3. G of 3 is 10. We figured out that g of 3 equals 10. So then 3 plus 10 equals 13. And that's all we're asking you to do, is add together 2 of the answers you've already gotten. We're asking you to use the labels to add together answers you've already gotten. Okay. Right now, you guys can go ahead and glue this in your notebook. There's no back, so you can just glue it flat in, which is nice. And then I want to show you your assignment before I pass them out, to show you guys what it's asking you to do. Because it has you use the same functions like again and again and again. Can't find my glue stick. There it is. Sorry, video. I'm keeping the video running so I can show you the same thing I'm going to show them on the assignment. Okay, so how about this? Miss Burgess is going to come around with your assignments. While she's passing these out, look up and I'm going to explain what you're doing where on the assignment. So, Ms. Burgess is coming around with the assignment. On the front side, you use this function, x squared plus 2, for all three of these problems. You use this function for all three of these problems. You use this function for all three of these problems. So that's pretty straightforward. Then, I'll wait until you guys get them. That way you guys can look. Flip it over to the back. On the back side, there's three functions up at the top, and you have to pick which one to use. So this says f of 4. So we have to say, okay, we want to use the function with the letter f and plug in 4. And then on the next one, h of negative 2, we want to use the function h and plug in negative 2. So that's what you have to do there. You have to pick which function to use, and then here is where you add, subtract, and multiply down at the bottom. So go ahead and get to work. We have plenty of time to work on this. Miss Burgess and I will be around, and we will check you guys as you go. That is all. I'm going to stop the recording now. Bye, recording.